Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Suburbs podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Suburbs podcast. And today, Misha and I will be talking about the In the Heights movie, which came out
Woo!
on June 11th. And
Hey!
so, fair warning, if you haven't seen the movie yet, go watch it
Yeah,
because we are
please
going to be
do.
talking about spoilers. You don't really need to know the musical, like the stage show, to watch the movie,
Mm-hmm.
or to listen to this podcast
Yeah,
episode. But we will be talking about it.
yeah,
The stage show, that is. So yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, the movie, go watch it. It's amazing.
yeah.
We
It's
loved it
great.
so much.
We
And
love
we're
this.
so
We are
excited for
so
this
excited to
episode.
talk about this, okay? We have waited so long for this movie to come out.
Oh,
It was
so
delayed
so
because Miss
long.
Rona hates us.
Okay, so the trailer for this movie, oh my god, it came out in December of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And when it did, Misha and I went straight to like message each other, and we're just like, girl, summer of 2020 will be ours.
Yes.
So the movie got delayed twice, right?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be in October of 2020, and then it
Yeah.
got delayed
Yeah, to now. To June
June of this
2021.
year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pain.
True pain.
But before we get
True
into the movie, for those who have no clue what the hell In the Heights is, it is a
Yes.
stage musical written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who you all probably know, who wrote Hamilton, right? This was his first baby.
His first musical, yes.
So, this premiered on Broadway in 2008, but then he's been writing this ever since he was in college, like since the 90s, like 1999.
It was like
2000.
It was workshopped for like a million years.
Yeah.
It took
Forever
to get to Broadway.
Yeah. But when it did, it was amazing. So it won a couple Tonys. It won, including
Yes.
Best Musical, because it was
great.
It is a great musical. So basically, the story of In the Heights, to put it briefly, the musical and the movie, there's a slight difference in the main plot. In which, in the musical, the story just goes over like one weekend, like one 4th of July weekend, and then the movie, it's sort of like the whole summer. But basically, it explores the life and times, the people who live in Washington Heights, in New York, and it explores basically sort of the Latin American experience, basically, and the hardships working every day, looking into their culture, their struggles, and yeah, you just get to explore their everyday lives, basically.
It was also the first hip hop musical.
Oh, yes.
Like it was a big deal when it first came out on Broadway, because it was a hip hop musical, and nothing had ever really been seen, nothing like that had ever been seen on Broadway before, and especially a musical that was so authentically like Hispanic that also hasn't really been seen. So it was a big deal. It was kind of like the way Hamilton was received, but it was more closed into the theater community than Hamilton, being with like everywhere,
Yeah, for sure. I feel like Lynn mentioned the reason why he wrote In the Heights was because as a Latino, there were like two roles, which is like him being in Man of La Mancha, which he couldn't sing, and then Bernardo in West Side Story. But his problem was that he can't sing that well, he can't dance that well. So he basically was like,
as seen in the club scene in the musical.
There are clips on YouTube, like official clips from In the Heights the musical, and you see Lynn in the club scene. He can't dance.
It's great.
But he's a mover, okay? But it's great. So, he wrote In the Heights for, to basically allow more, like, Latino people to be on Broadway. And, he subverted stereotypes. There's no drug dealers, no one gets pregnant, it's just normal life living and the struggles, That's basically what In the Heights is.
Honestly, like, I wouldn't have it any other way, because this was so good. I enjoyed this movie so much. It was so much fun to watch.
It really was.
And like, not just as a fan of the musical, but like just like it was such a fun movie.
I think it's so heartwarming. So like obviously as you mentioned, the trailer first came out December of 2019. Me and Talia were psyched as fuck. Okay, we were so excited. Like we could not believe that this movie was happening, and be like the visuals. John Chu knows how to direct this. He knows how to direct musicals. He knows how. I mean, if you don't know John Chu, he's most famous for directing the couple Step Up movies as well as Crazy Rich Asians. Now, Crazy Rich Asians, great, not a dance movie, but because of his experience with Step Up, he knows how to direct dance sequences. And In the Heights just further exposes how well he can do that.
We always hear in the news that like, oh, this musical is going to be turned into a movie, and then we never hear from it again. Cough, cough, wicked. And so like I've sort of made a rule with myself that I'm not gonna think about it or even like consider it real until there's a trailer, because usually we'll see like oh, they're gonna start filming, and then it just doesn't happen. So when the trailer came out, I was like, okay, this is real. Oh my god, okay, let's go. I was psyched for it. I was so excited.
I was incredibly excited as well. And the thing is with like In the Heights, it's a very like the way it's staged, it's very like small community, because that's the whole point of the show. It's like it's a community of people. So like to see it on like an actual like reality scale of like how many people actually live in the barrio, and like seeing everything brought to life was so insane. To just be like, so this is what it would actually look like in real life.
I was almost like overwhelmed, because I was like, because like, you know, I've been a fan of this musical since like middle school. I think that's when I first heard of this musical. And so like, and I've obviously never seen the stage production. I've only seen like a really shaky recording of it. And so to actually see like a proper version of it in like well, I was gonna say the big screen, but you know, but see like an actual like production of it, I was just like, I was so excited, and I was like, oh my god, finally I get to see the show. Even though it's like, you know, the film, it's still, I'm like, oh my god,
still amazing.
It felt so amazing.
It did. I will say though, I did have, I think maybe, I remember talking to another friend of mine, Ali, about the trailer. I think sometime in like August.
Shout out Ali.
Love you, hun. I started getting nervous about the movie. I think because this is when they delayed the movie again. I started getting nervous about the movie because I thought that they were gonna take it over the top in terms of like, obviously there is a level of surrealism with the way that they're gonna film it, you know, which is fine. But I thought they were gonna make it like too over the top and make it so big budget, which is not what In the Heights originally was. It was like a small production about like a small, like, you know, there's not like, there's big dance numbers, but like it's not a big budget production, right? It's not like a mega musical compared to like your Les Mis.
There were barely it was like barely any set changes. It was like one stationary set with like with them like bringing other props on stage to like to sort of like simulate a set change. Like it was a very simple show.
Which,
you know,
which I enjoyed. So when I saw the movie, at one hand I did enjoy everything sort of being brought to life, but at the same time I sort of had like hesitation of like, are they making it too much? Are we losing the essence of what In the Heights is, which is just about a small community in a larger world? But like watching the movie, I just, it was amazing. It was amazing. That worry just like blew over the top of my head and was like, nope, they did it right. They did it right. They did In the Heights right.
So I guess we should get into the film itself. So the film opens with with a scene at a beach, which is something that threw us off.
Okay, so spoiler for the whole movie. So, we're gonna cut in and out, basically. Watch the film. You know, to get context. We're just gonna. So, in the musical, right? So, basically, the whole story is that Usnavi is from the Dominican Republic, has never got the chance to go back ever since he left, just because of money, financial issues, family things, whatever. In the musical, he finally wins money, and he gets to go to the Dominican Republic, but on the last second he changes his mind, right? So he never goes
Mhm.
in the musical. Now,
Yes.
in the
But
movie,
in the film, the movie opens with Usnavi, our main character, played by Anthony Ramos, who's amazing. In like a beach, on like a little shack, and
yeah,
he's like talking to some kids, and um, and he's like telling them the story of Washington Heights,
yeah,
and that's how the film opens and transitions
into
into the
present
opening
day.
number,
Yeah,
which I am in love with the opening number of this film. It is so
it is
like
beautiful.
well
It
done.
is,
So the opening number has a beat to it. All of like his little movements from like opening door to locking the gate are to the beat
yeah.
of the opening number. And it's so
It's
I
so
remember watching it and
satisfying.
just being like, "Oh
Yeah, all of
my
us,
god, this is
literally all of us,
amazing."
were like, "Oh my god, what is this?"
We watch party this,
Yeah, we
by the
watched part
way.
of this with all our friends. Part of the suburbs,
Yeah.
also friends outside of the suburbs. But like we all
Yes.
watched part of it, and everyone was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" It was so
This is in
synchronized
we
to the
all were
beat.
just like, it was
It was
amazing.
amazing. Like,
Even like the the
yeah,
water hose, and then like even
the
like how he walks. It was so perfect to the beat, and I was obsessed with it.
yeah.
I was like, this
I
is amazing. I already love this.
like Lily, like Anthony Ramos wakes up, goes out the door, and I'm like, I'm done. This is the best movie. Like
Yeah,
I
they haven't even started singing yet, and
yeah.
we're already
We
like, this
haven't
is the best
started.
movie ever.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the part where Anthony Ramos sings. But like, yeah,
Like,
the opening number is great. Okay, so basically the opening number as well.
yes,
The thing that Lin
it's
likes to do.
Usnavi introducing us to his neighborhood.
Yeah,
He first starts off by introducing himself,
himself.
and then he introduces his little mom and pop store. I mean,
Yeah, we're gonna try not
and then
sing. Okay, this is difficult for
yes,
us to not just
this
sing
is
the whole
very
musical
hard
for
for us.
you, because that was really
Um,
us watching the movie.
yeah. Oh my god, it was.
Yes,
But yeah, so like as people come into his store, he introduces them from his cousin Sonny, who works at the store,
mm-hmm.
to the Salon Girls who work across the street,
Yeah,
to his abuela.
yeah.
And so he basically just introduces everyone, all of the central characters.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I also really enjoyed about this opening number was when it got to the chorus, and the entire ensemble sings, they cut to shots of people in the neighborhood starting their day.
Yeah.
So you see like all the different people who live there,
Mm-hmm.
what their situation is, how they're getting ready to start their day,
Mm-hmm.
what they're gonna do
Yeah.
on that day. So we cut to like a janitor, then we cut to like a mechanic.
Yeah.
We cut to like the salon people. Like we cut to like places all over the
Yeah.
neighborhood, and that was really cool. I love how they showed all the different sides of the
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood.
Yeah, it really
And
sort of
it's
encapsulates
great.
what In the Heights is about: community, right? Like, yeah, there are main
Yes.
characters, but like there's all these other people in the community. Like, every
Yeah.
day they work, right? Basically what the song is. Like,
Mhm.
they came from miles, because they're immigrants, they came from miles away. We're here, we work hard to do what we
Yes.
want, fighting for our freedom, fighting for our rights. Here we are, trying to just live day by
Wait,
day.
and we also forgot there was a cameo in the opening number. One Mr. Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is playing Piragua,
Oh
who
yeah,
is
this is the first time we get to see
the snow
Piragua,
cone
the snow
guy.
cone guy.
So Piragua was a character in the musical. He was like a minor character. He had like 2 songs, and he was like this guy who sells snow cones.
Mhm.
And it was a very small role, and then Lin
Yeah.
was like, "I'll take it."
Yeah, which I liked, right? This is what I liked. Like, he was the
it was
original,
really
but like he's
cool.
gonna take a smaller role. Like, because I remember Lin was like, for some reason, Lin, who is like 40 now, was considering to
Yeah.
play the role himself. And I'm like, but then he was like, then he realized, thankfully, he was like, I'm
Yeah.
too old. Maybe not.
Yes, to play Usnavi, by the way.
Yeah.
Lin played Usnavi in the
OG.
Broadway production.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that he, got to be a part of the movie as Piragua.
Yeah.
Which is a great role. Which is a really great role for him, because it's just a fun role.
Yeah, we'll get to that a bit later, but yeah, it's great. So
Yeah.
like, again, this opening number, amazing. We get to introduce everyone, all the characters, which we'll get into more in depth in a bit, and then
Yeah.
we get to like the final chorus, and my favorite part, as in my favorite part, is when Anthony Ramos looks out the window and he sings the I'm a street light.
Yeah, I'm a street light choking on the heat.
You see the reflection, so it's like Anthony Ramos looking out, and then the reflection in the
and then the reflection
is the dancers.
Is
the dancing.
It's so good. And then the choreography is also just like amazing.
And then,
I love the choreography.
And then like you go in like to the street and everyone dances, right? And we will get into this a bit later. The differences of Usnavi, Broadway, and the movie is that Anthony Ramos is an excellent dancer. So he like is dancing his heart out. So he's like number. Joining. Like he knows how to dance, which is great. Amazing. Like the choreography was just amazing. Opening number, I tell you guys. Oh my god. You're gonna be so blown away when you see the opening number, because if you have
it's amazing.
I love it. If you can't already tell by how like shouty we are, we do could you tell that we kind of prefer In the Heights over Hamilton? Can you tell?
Yeah, we do. Actually.
Can you tell?
Well, okay, I am a big fan of Hamilton. Yeah. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a little poster of Hamilton over there. I also have many Hamilton memorabilia.
Yes, we love Hamilton. Like, don't get us wrong.
Fan of Hamilton,
this doesn't mean we hate the musical, right? Like we love Hamilton, but
low-key In the Heights above Hamilton. Low-key.
Surprise.
If you don't know, Anthony Ramos played John Lawrence and Philip in Hamilton, and basically his relationship with Lynn is like he's like the successor, sort of like Anthony.
Yeah.
So like he played Sonny, I think, in like the national tour of In the Heights back in the day, and then he got to play Usnavi in the Kennedy Center version of In the Heights.
Yes.
So it felt very much like round circle that he would be Usnavi in the movie. Honestly, I cannot picture anybody else to play Usnavi.
No, like he's really the only one like that can play this role like perfectly. Mm-hmm. Even like compared to like Lynn himself.
Yeah. Oh yes. The one thing that I was very happy for is vocals were on point. Oh, vocals for Usnavi.
Lin-Manuel Miranda is an amazing performer, but his vocals sometimes are not it.
Yes. So
like we love him, but you know, hearing Anthony Ramos is like, that's how that's
supposed to sound, which is not a diss at Lynn, okay? Lynn is great in his own shape or form. He can rap very well. He can sing sometimes well, but sometimes Anthony fits the bill. I think my only, I guess, kind of worry is that Anthony Ramos is like swag.
Don't make me laugh, I've been trying all night. You've been shaking your ass for like half of the heights.
Real nice.
And Usnavi is supposed to be very like dorky.
Yeah, he's supposed to be dorky.
He's supposed to be this like
no one really wants to choose him. He's like the cutie pie, right? Like everyone thinks he's cute, but no one wants to like date him type beat. Anthony Ramos doesn't look like that.
Anthony Ramos is
he's hot. He's guapo, right? Like that's he's guapo.
Yes.
And so like he's still socially awkward in the musical, right? He doesn't really pick up on.
They still get that aspect of the character in this performance.
Yeah, so it's still there that he's like doesn't know what to do. He doesn't pick up social cues, especially when it comes to like Vanessa and like girls. He's still very like I don't know what to do. I'm a scramble. He's still like quirky and funny and so adorable. Like I know Lynn technically wrote it for him. Like Lynn wrote it for himself. But like I feel like Usnavi and like Anthony Ramos just like work so well together. Like
yes,
it's so natural. Like the way he acts it, like because I've seen Anthony off screen and off stage, like his Instagram and stuff, and watching the movie I'm like, this just seems like Anthony, like in general. Like it just seems like him. Like he doesn't even have to act that much. It feels like he's just being himself. And that's what I loved about his portrayal of Usnavi, because he was just being himself. Just a bit more socially awkward. And he did it well.
Yeah.
I think Talia will agree. In the dinner scene when he dressed up in the red shirt and the hat.
Okay, so for those of you who have not seen the stage production on Broadway, the costume for Usnavi was this red shirt with a newsboy cap,
Yeah.
and that's sort of become like the iconic look for In the Heights. That's the one that everyone like recognizes, like, oh, that's In the Heights. The red shirt and the newsboy cap. And so when Anthony Ramos walked in to the dinner scene with that fucking red shirt and the newsboy cap, we screamed. I honestly like really thought like, okay, chances are their outfits in the movie are gonna look nothing like the ones in the musical, because it's gonna take place present day instead of in 2008. So chances are we're not gonna see any of the costumes, and that's fine. So that surprise of the red shirt and the newsboy cap.
Yeah,
I was so
incredible.
happy.
It was incredible.
It made me so happy.
Overall, Usnavi, Anthony Ramos, great, amazing, 100%.
Amazing.
Like, in love.
Great
with him.
leading man.
In
really
love
good.
with him. Now we're talking about Usnavi. We can talk about his baby cousin, Sonny.
His little cousin Sonny, who is introduced in the opening number.
Yeah, and
as his little cousin who is working with him in the store.
Bodega. Yeah, the bodega. I have to say, Sonny, like, he's like stole the show. Like, oh my god,
that kid is so great. Like, and that kid is really good.
So like, the actor who played Sonny in the movie, Gregory Diaz, is like, he's a teenager. Like, I think he just turned 16, which I really appreciate that they generally cast like a young, talented kid. Yeah, because Robin De Jesus played the role on Broadway, who was young. Yeah, but was not like that young. You know, like. Teenage wise, like don't get me wrong, Ramos De Jesus did great, but I'm really glad that they got someone actually like who's a teenager to play the role.
Yeah, because when in like the Broadway production, I always pictured Sonny as like a 20-something because of Robin De Jesus. Like I always thought he was like, oh, a kid in like his early 20s, like maybe late teens. But then in the film, I was like, oh, Sonny's really like meant to be like a kid, like a teenager kid. Yeah. Like a young teenage kid, you know? And that sort of really kind of changes the character a bit more. His whole like purpose in the film and in the musical is to show like the younger point of view, which is like the people who still think that like there's a bit more hope and that they can still change the way things are. As shown in his verse in 96,000, which is a song where people describe what they would do with $96,000.
Yeah, because someone wins the lottery.
Sonny describes, Sonny in his verse says that he is going to use the 96,000 to, you know, protest for their rights and to get the barrio more advanced, to get like computers and fix the education system. And so that's Sonny's whole thing. He wants to make the neighborhood better, and I think that's something that a lot of like younger people can relate to, because they, you know, they have a more like sort of wide-eyed perspective, you know.
100%. And I think with this, the major change that they did with Sonny in the movie, which I really appreciated.
Yes, they did some changes.
Yeah, they did some changes, that was for the better, he is honestly. An undocumented immigrant, basically. He's undocumented. And so, you know, Lynn decided to, which I wholeheartedly agree that they should do, is like bring in, you know, more present day changes and updating the story, basically, and adding, you know, the whole DACA program and all that and stuff. So I really like that, you know, Sonny had this whole thing of like him and Nina, who we'll discuss a bit later, you know, they go to a protest and he, you know, he's smart and wants to have an education and go far, and then he realizes because of him being undocumented, he doesn't have much of a future. He wants to go to college, and, you know, but he can't, you know, he can't even get a driver's license and all that. And like to see sort of, you know, like Sonny working hard because that he feels like that's all he has, because
Mhm.
as undocumented, he can't really do much else. And like we see his
Yeah.
dad. So Sonny's dad, played by Mark Anthony in the movie, which isn't in the musical.
Yeah. He was not in the musical. This was added for the film.
Yeah, so we just it's a bit of a glimpse, and that's when we realized that the reason, because Usnavi's like ready, he wants to bring Sonny with him to the Dominican Republic, you know, he wants to take care of Sonny, and then they're just like, well, that sounds like a great plan, but he can't leave the country because he's undocumented, right? And I feel like it adds so much more purpose as to why Sonny is the way he is, and you know, why he wants to dream of like helping others and like furthering education and helping others learn, was because he has the chance to, but he's also like by the fate can't.
He has his own like struggles.
Yeah, so I love that, like at the end, you know, he's in the process of, you know, applying to, you know, actually be able to live in the States legally, you know, and they really keep the true essence of it, because like their lawyer says it could take 5 months or 5 years, because that's how it is, right? Like in real life, that's how difficult it is for the process. But like Sonny is so willing to, right? And that's what I love about him. He has such good
because he has like so much like which is really great for the character, because in the musical, Sonny was just sort of comedy relief in a way. Like he would like deliver like all these like powerful messages in 96,000, and also in Carnaval. He would he had like a really good verse about like how, you know, our problems aren't just going to be solved, you know, when the power gets turned back on. But generally, for the most part, he was mostly comedy relief. He would just serve like really quippy lines. But here they added a lot more to his character. They gave him more of a personality, and I really like what they did with his character. It was really really nice to see that.
Yeah, honestly, it really was. To see all that and like see his hopes and dreams really be more important to him in more ways than one. Other, like, we could see that it's his purpose throughout the rest of the movie. Not only he just says it in 96,000 and we brush it under the rug after that. Like, it continues on. And a big thing about In the Heights is everyone's hopes and dreams, right? Which is, we can see the song.
That is the main part of the
which
musical, is everyone's hope and dreams.
In 96,000, which is an incredible number, right? It's on the same level as In the Heights. It's a group number.
Yes.
Basically, the premise is, so in the bodega, they get a call that they sold the winning lotto ticket and the winning prize was $96,000. Which is a lot. And then basically now the whole barrio is like, well, what are we all going to do with 96,000?
If you had won the 96,000, what would you do with it?
And then
everyone goes like, everyone sings a verse about what they would do. And oh my god,
I love this song.
Okay.
I love this song.
It's an amazing song in the musical, and then here it was like kicked up a notch with the added visuals.
Yeah, because they decided to do this at the pool, and
yes,
John True again.
And also, so like they're walking. So like Usnavi, Benny, Sonny, and Graffiti Pete.
Yeah,
they're walking towards the pool, and while Benny's singing the first verse, they added a little bit of animation to go with his movement, which was I was like, whoa, where did this come from? But it's so cool.
But it makes sense though, because it's about their dreams, right? So obviously, as they're acting it out, they would like have animation, so it like made sense. Yeah. Also, they made a couple lyric changes. So like Donald Trump used to be a lyric.
Yeah, which is a lyric.
Because Benny was talking about like golfing, and he was just like, oh, you know, I'd be so successful that Donald Trump would like work for me instead. But obviously,
my caddy.
Obviously,
they changed it to like Tiger Woods.
Yeah, they changed it to Tiger Woods. Thankfully, and they also had like this Obi-Wan Kenobi line, and all of us, all of us are like massive Star Wars fans. So when like they said that and the lightsaber came up, everyone was like, "Whoa!"
They changed like 2 lines or so, but other than that, the song was basically the same. And once again, choreography top notch.
Yeah,
it was amazing in the pool as well.
I
there
can't get
were
over how the pool, like, it worked. Because, like,
yeah,
again, so basically, in the musical, again, because it's so small, they sort of just find out, and then everyone in the streets just sort of finds out,
yeah,
basically. But, like, I understand why they would have it at a pool. It's summer, it's a hot day, where would everybody be,
yeah,
right? Other than in their work?
yeah,
At the community pool. And that's when everyone
yeah,
finds out that they win, and everyone's just like, oh, what would you do? What would you do? What would you do?
yeah. You can really see people's personalities come out.
Mhm.
So like, Benny talks about going to business school.
Mm-hmm.
Vanessa talks about, finally making a life outside of the barrio.
Mm-hmm.
Sonny, as we mentioned, talks about improving the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the Salon Girls talk about, like getting new hairstyles.
Yeah.
Which is I love the Salon
The
Girls
salon.
are fucking amazing. I love
The Salon Girls
I
are my
love
whole
them.
life. Okay, so the Salon Girls.
They
so
they
I love
I
them.
love them so
There's
much.
so in
So
the musical
there's 3 Salon Girls.
there's 3
Yeah.
Salon
So
Girls
in the musical there are 2.
yeah, and the movie there's
Yeah.
3. I guess to just fill in
Yes.
spots or whatever. So
Yeah.
there's Daniela and Carla, who are the 2 that are
Who were
in
in the
both.
musical.
And
And then in the film
Kuka
they
is the
added
third one.
Kuka.
Yeah, played by
Yes.
Dasha Polanco. By the way, can I just say the
Yes.
trio of actresses they had to play the Salon Girls in the movie are like
God.
my life. Okay,
Daphne Ruben Vega as Daniela, Stephanie Beatrice as Carla.
I tell you, Stephanie
was
Beatrice
so-
is amazing in this
As
movie.
Carla. Okay, Stephanie Beatrice as Carla was honestly everything I needed and more.
Exactly.
She was so good.
So good.
Carla is supposed to be like this like ditzy type girl,
Mhm.
and Stephanie Beatrice plays her so
Yeah,
well.
guys,
And Carla's also sort of like comedy relief.
yeah. The
And
Salon
she does
Girls
it really well.
the Salon Girls
yeah,
are comedy
the Salon
relief
Girls-
in general, like
Yes.
super, especially in the movie. Oh my! I am cackling my
Oh
ass off
my god.
at any point
I
whenever they're on
love
screen. I fucking love them.
And one thing that they also changed in the movie from the musical is they actually made Daniela and Carla be in a relationship.
Yeah!
Because in the musical they were just sort of like best friends,
Mhm.
and then here they're like, it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yes.
I mean,
This is
I'm here for
amazing.
it. I'm here for it. Like, trust me, like the fandom,
Yes.
everyone's just like Danielle and Carla. They're like, they're like,
They're like,
they're, and like I guess like again
they
because like
are.
and they are, and they made it in the movie, which I fucking
Yeah.
loved. Okay,
I
like
was really excited about that. I
Like,
was like, oh, this is great.
the
This is gonna be
salon
amazing.
ladies in every scene is great. Like in 96,000, there they are in the
Oh my
pool
God.
being like, "In my brand new weave, or maybe just bleach." Y'all are freaks,
Y'all
and
are
I'm like,
freaks.
yes, I love them.
Oh
They
my
have-
god.
they
And then of course their iconic song
No Me Diga! I'm not gonna lie, No
Oh
Me Diga is
my
like
god.
unabashedly one of my favorite songs off of the In the Heights
Fucking
soundtrack. Just
Amazing.
because it's so
amazing.
good. Like it's just it's the most chaotic
so-
energy in the entire world.
Oh, I
But
love
it makes
so
sense.
much.
It makes
It's-
so much sense.
So basically the song is just a cuento session.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just
cuento.
gossiping.
Yeah, cuento's gossip, right? And like this is when
Yeah.
I was explaining how like Latino culture and Filipino culture, this is like where they made like there's a lot of like crossovers,
Oh yes.
family orientated,
Yes.
but this, the cuento, the gossip, the chica,
Oh,
whatever,
it's
this
like
is it. Like I have
Yeah.
never felt more at home with all the gossip in a salon, because that's what happens when we go to the salon in the Philippines. You just you just talk. You just gossip the entire time. And this is exactly what happens in the movie.
amazing. No Me Diga was like, it's also a really fun song.
Yeah.
And this is really where we get to see like where they work and how they work and what's going on.
Yeah.
And
what their
it's
business is.
No Me Diga is sort of like an extension of their verse in the Heights in
Yeah.
the song. In the
Yeah,
Heights.
that's a good way to put it. There's one thing we had to talk about in No Me Diga that they did was that there's like these moving heads.
Oh,
All
I
of
love
a
that!
sudden in the
That's right.
background, like
It's
the
right.
heads with like all like the hairstyle.
Like the mannequin heads,
Yeah.
like just like turn, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
None of us knew what was going. All of us were like, "The why are they
We were
moving?"
like, what?
We were like, what's going on?
So it
We did
was
not
so
know what was
funny.
going on, but it was great. It was
But
great,
oh my
but none
god,
of us knew what was going on.
it was so good. Something that's also really cool that they do, um, as seen by the title of the song "No Me Diga," is that they weave a little bit of Spanish into the songs and into the script
Mm-hmm.
in a way that like it's very like simple,
Yeah.
but seems very like what's the word? Seamless? Not seamless. Natural. Sorry,
Yeah,
that was the word I was
that's
looking for.
natural for
So
sure.
like it's not like a sort of like Dora the Explorer type where they're just like
Yes.
they're like silencio or whatever the
Can you
um
say? Can you say
yeah,
la
like that.
mesa?
Yeah, like that. So like, but like here it's like, oh, you can kind of like understand what they're saying
Mm-hmm.
through either through context clues or because like, oh, I know that Spanish word.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
No, it makes sense how they weaved in, and like a big thing is
yeah,
that, like, as being like second, third generation, so on, so on, learning Spanish doesn't become like a precedent. Like English becomes your
yeah,
first language, and then Nina, for example, has like that struggle of like, I didn't, I wasn't forced to learn Spanish, but now I do. I feel bad if I don't,
yeah.
type thing of like, as, Latin Americans, proper Latino
Mm-hmm.
Americans, there's like the struggle of like, I don't know how to speak Spanish that well. So like there's a
Yeah.
mix in the Heights, right? There's a
They,
mix of
yeah, there's like
both.
they're a lot of it is just like a mix of English and Spanish,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just really cool, and especially like in No Me Diga, you can really see that.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a lot of like
and
pride in sort of like,
yeah,
they may be living in America, but like, where they're from is still important, and that's shown in Carnaval
yeah,
del Barrio, which I love this
which
number.
is a
Carnaval is
fucking
great.
banger, my guy.
Carnaval, I'm
Oh
not
my
even
god,
kidding. I have put this.
Carnaval
It's like my summer bop. Like, is my
is
summer
so
bop.
good.
You cannot go wrong
So
with Carnaval.
Carnaval takes place towards the end of the film.
Yeah.
And it's Daniela and the other salon girls are about to leave. They're moving their salon to a different neighborhood because of
Financial.
was it like a foreclosure or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gentrification or whatever. Which is the true villain of this film, gentrification.
Mm-hmm.
Um and so everyone is kind of like down, and Daniela is like, "Hey, what the is going on?
Yeah, like
You're
we're
supposed
like
to be like lively, you know.
yeah, like
Latinos are supposed to be like
okay with
lively.
heat.
We're
Yeah,
not supposed to be scared of heat.
yeah, exactly.
We're used to the heat, you
And they
know.
decide to
Like
have like
she's trying to lift up their spirits, and they
mm-hmm.
have a little party like just
Yeah.
then and there, and it's a fun song.
I love this, and it's like it's a true, and like I've seen a lot of people. So like we're not Latin American, but like I've seen
Yeah,
so
we're
many
not.
people, in the comments being like Carnival like makes them so happy because it's like
Yeah,
accepting. Like, cause like there's this part where they just like raise your flag.
yeah,
I'm Cuban, I'm Mexican, I'm Puerto Rican,
yeah.
I'm Dominican.
And they're like there's a part where they were like saying like wave your flag with pride,
Yeah,
and like scream so loud that they could hear us across the bridge.
yeah.
So like
everyone.
it gave me goosebumps when I was
Yeah.
when I was watching it. I was like, oh my god, this is like wow.
It's
And
such
it's also like
a good song.
it's so fun, and it just shows like their pride
Yeah, and like
coming from these countries.
It doesn't only show like their pride of like how proud they are coming from the country, but again, the community aspect of of the barrio, right? It's just like we all come together. We all come from these different like small different countries from Latin America, but like we're all together as one to celebrate all that, to celebrate who we are, where we come from, be proud of it, right? And let everybody know where we come from because that's who we are, right? Like that's the whole essence
in the
of
Heights,
Carnival and in the Heights in general.
Yeah. In the Heights sort of has this um I guess duality where they're like I'm proud to be from this country, but I'm also proud to be American. Because in there's a part where Carla, she's like saying, my mom is Dominican, Cuban, Caribbean. Like
No,
she's like talking about like
yeah, she's
where
like,
her parents are
yeah,
from,
she
and it's
says,
like a little hodgepodge of
yeah,
different
but then she says, I'm
Central
from
American
Queens
countries,
too.
and then she's like, but I always say I'm from Queens.
Speaking of this has nothing to do
Yes.
with the thing Talia was talking about, but I've seen a lot of people complaining about this because Stephanie Beatrice sings it a different way than to what Janet Dacal, who's the original Carla, sings it on Broadway, because she goes, I'm originally in the Broadway cast recording, she goes, I'm Chile Dominican Rican. But then in the movie, she says, I'm Chile Dominican Rican, and doesn't prolong it. And for some reason, everyone is mad. And I'm like,
everyone's pissed off.
Everyone's pissed off. Being like, you're supposed to prolong it. But there is fact, if you look at the vocal score, you don't prolong it. And also, there's something called making something your own. Like, the same people who are complaining about this are the same people who watch, like, Elphaba Riff Defying Gravity.
Oh,
right?
yes.
And the 10,000 versions which, people have
girl,
made.
we gotta do a video on Elphaba Riff compilation
we will do, like, Wicked Riff compilation video one day.
God.
Because we have a lot of thoughts.
That's a whole nother topic that Misha and I can talk about. No, but yeah, like,
they're unnecessarily complaining that Stephanie Beatrice is not singing it right. There's no right way to sing it. They can do whatever they want to. It's called creative freedom. But anyways. Back to the real point.
So in the Heights, in the Heights, there's this really great thing, which is it shows that you can be proud of both. You don't have to pick either or. You can be proud to be both a person from another country and also be proud to be American. Which like they really show that like these people like really do love this country. We're not there. Really do love America. But also show how much pride and how happy they are to be from whatever country they're from, and keep that with them even though they're in a new country, and integrate that into their now American lives. Exactly. So that's a really cool thing that they included into the film and the musical, because it was done both.
Carnival just like makes me really happy. Like, it just brings a smile to my face.
I love it. You cannot be sad while listening to Carnival.
you can't.
It's like impossible.
Yeah, Carnival just like brings
instant serotonin giver.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to put.
It's the serotonin dispenser.
How to describe Carnival. I think which we will discuss a bit further, is that like Carnival has a sort of different place in the movie. In terms of like,
it does.
Because so they cut out some songs first off in the movie,
which
for time.
Low-key disappointed about, but like I understand why they did it.
I understand for time and reason, but at the same time, there's a couple songs that I wish would have stayed.
That they could have kept.
They would have stayed, like. Everything I know, like Sunrise. I don't know. I especially don't understand why they decided.
Hundreds of stories.
Yeah, hundreds of stories as well. Like they also cut out Inutil and Enough, which they had to cut out Enough because they decided to they changed so much of Nina's storyline.
Yes. Nina's story is the one that had the most
changes, which I'm a bit
from stage to screen.
Yeah, which I'm a bit like is I think the thing that I'm disappointed about, I guess, with the movie is just how they changed Nina's storyline quite a bit. So basically, Nina, right? So she goes to university in Stanford, and she comes back home, and she sort of like is in the process of dropping out. Now in the musical, she drops out because she's trying to pay. She has a scholarship, but it's not like a full scholarship, so she still has to pay. So she's working like 2 jobs on top of trying to keep up with her grades. But because of the stress of all that, she unfortunately doesn't doesn't keep up her grades and
she loses the
loses the
scholarship.
scholarship,
Yeah.
and that's why she comes home and it's like, I had to drop out, which is completely valid and makes so much sense. And as to Nina's characterization of why she would go back home, because she is that character. She's the overachiever. She will do everything and anything to be, to do what's best for herself and like want to keep up, and she will work all those jobs. But then, there's always a breaking point with a character as her, with an overachiever of like, I've done too much and now I've lost everything. And that's exactly what Nina is. And she sort of lost her way, right? Because everyone thinks of her so highly because she was the first one in the barrio to make it to college and to Stanford, such an amazing school. And then she upsets everybody by trying to work hard, and everyone's like, oh, fuck, what happened? In the movie, it's a little bit different.
They really change it. It's more like she doesn't want to be in Stanford because she feels like it's a betrayal to like everyone in her neighborhood, and she feels like she doesn't belong there, and she also talks about how she can't find other people like her, which like is valid, but I feel like it's like a lot weaker to the one to her storyline in the musical, which I really wish they had kept that over this one, because it makes a lot more sense as to why she would drop out. Because like from everything, it seemed like she was doing fine. It was just like a tough adjustment period. But I wish they just showed her struggling with her grades and struggling with financials rather than just socially
for sure. And it's not that like the reason why she's leaving is bad. It is very like important to like feel at home where you are, because it's so easy to feel out of place and like feel homesick and not. But the way that they characterize Nina, it makes more sense that she would leave because she had worked so, like, she was trying to pay off bills and to pay off her education, that she missed everything. And the characterization of Nina, it made more sense that way instead of like her not feeling at home. And like I feel like that reason was not as supported in the movie as to why she would come back home, and it kind of made me kind of confused as to where they wanted to go with that.
In the musical, the thing that sort of starts the main conflict is that when Nina's dad finds out that she lost her scholarship, he sells the business to pay her for her tuition. But here, he sells the business also to keep up with the tuition, but they never really like showed that she was struggling financially in Stanford. That like they really emphasized that she just had a problem fitting in. It wasn't. They never really emphasized that she was having a hard time supporting herself.
Exactly.
Like,
it would
they
make
really,
more sense if with it would make more sense then with Kevin, the name of her dad, if he sold the business because of more financial struggles that even Nina was facing. Here they don't really mention it as much. I mean, they do mention it, right?
They really don't.
They do have like a large
barely.
conversation about it, being like, hey, I'll pay for it, it's fine. And then she's like, no, you're like ruining your life. Nina says, like, it is there, but it's not as deeply rooted as in the musical, I feel like. And another big change with Nina is that she has a mom in the musical, Camila, and she says enough.
She does.
In the movie, they sort of like she passed away basically, and it's just her and her dad.
They got rid of the character. So Nina's mom is a very prominent character in the musical. She really like gets her whole family like together. She's like, okay, come on, let's fix this.
To have that sort of removed from the movie, which I understand, it does sort of strengthen Nina and her father's bond more, but at the same time, I miss that sort of conflict, and like the place Camila had in the family was so important.
I don't really understand why they got rid of Camila. They really could have kept her in and just cut not everything I know, cut enough,
Yeah.
like they did with Kevin's song,
Inutil.
Inutil.
Yeah.
Yeah, they cut that, but they kept Kevin. So I don't really understand why they cut Camilla.
Yeah. But at the same time,
But
because
still,
they cut another important... For some reason, they decided to cut all Nina related or the Rosario related songs for some reason, because they cut Everything I Know, which is such an important...
such a beautiful...
First of all, it's such a
and,
beautiful song, but it's so important because in the musical, Abuela and Nina have such a good relationship. She's like Nina's second mom, goes to her for advice and all that, and they still have that here, but they don't explore that as much. Nina has like a breakthrough moment during Everything I Know, of like realizing that everything she will go back to college because of Abuela and because of everything she did for her to just stop that dream is not what Abuela would want her to do, and that's why she goes back to Stanford in the musical, and that is so important. They cut all that out in the movie.
They did, which I was like, oh, come on. I really, really wish they kept Everything I Know. They cut out 2 Nina songs.
Yeah, they cut Everything I Know.
Sunrise and Everything I Know, which I found really weird. Like, because both of those songs are pretty, like, well, not as important as Everything I Know, but Sunrise was like a pivotal moment in the musical.
And there's a reason
when Nina and Benny's relationship.
And there's
starts.
also a reason why it's called Sunrise, because there's a song called When the Sun Goes Down, which is sunset.
Exactly.
So then you have Sunrise, which opens Act 2, and When the Sun Goes Down, which is almost
it's like just the close to the end of the show,
and it makes sense.
And like, yeah. It really does, and they kept When the Sun Goes Down,
which is fine.
It's a beautiful song. Like it is fine. It's a great song, but like it would have just been like really cool if they kept Sunrise, and it's also a really cute song.
Yeah.
But no.
I mean, in the way that they mapped out the movie and the way they changed where things placed, to me, placing Sunrise somewhere is awkward. With the way that they changed to like. They changed when Abuela dies.
Like, I get it.
Spoiler alert, she dies. Spoiler alert, she dies. But she dies a lot earlier.
We told you to watch this movie in the beginning. If you didn't, it's your fault.
Your fault. Because they basically placed her death earlier in the musical, rather than later. So with the way that they moved Abuela's death, it would be very awkward to put like Sunrise right after she died. Yeah. Like, I understand that.
It would. I get it. I get why they removed it. It also kind of sucks.
But they could have placed it somewhere else. I was like, justice for Nina in this whole thing. Because why is her storyline the one that's so heavily changed? Well, I understand Usnavi is the main character. But at the same time, I feel like Usnavi and Nina are both on like the same level of importance. Because they're both 2 different tracks of like following your dreams and what happens. Right? Mm-hmm. And so the fact that they changed Nina so much, it didn't make sense to me. By the way, we're not like... This is not like a bash Nina club. We love Nina.
Oh, no.
Okay?
We love Nina, which is why we're disappointed a little
Leslie
bit.
Grace did amazing as Nina, okay?
She did.
I had my little bit of... Because Mandy Gonzalez, who originally played Nina, is amazing. Was an amazing Nina. Like, Mandy Gonzalez is just amazing.
Her voice is insane.
Yeah. So I had like... I was like... You don't want to compare because it's wrong to compare. But obviously, it's like natural instinct to sort of compare. Yeah. I will say both Leslie Grace, who played Nina in the movie, did great. What they kept with Nina, Breathe, right? I think
Breathe is such a great song. It served as like the formal introduction to Nina.
Because Nina isn't in
she didn't have a verse in the opening number. She's the only one. So this is our introduction.
She's the only one who's not in the opening number.
The opening number, yeah.
We get to see her dad.
And it's Nina. Yes, we do see her dad in the opening number, but we don't see Nina herself. They talk about her.
Yeah, because she arrived from Stanford last night, basically.
Yes. So the song is sort of Nina walking around her neighborhood and like seeing, the place where she grew up and like wondering, oh, am I disappointing them because
it's
of,
Yeah,
what I'm doing in Stanford.
It's a great song.
It's really a great song.
Encapsulate who Nina is, right? She's very
Yes.
proud of her street. She loves, and she says something a lot in the movie. She's like, let me listen to my block, right? Because she misses
Yes.
that feeling of home. And like
Mhm.
her community and the barrio is so important to her, and she does not want to let them down. And in Breathe, basically, she's telling herself that she needs to breathe because
Yeah.
she's like moving so fast that she's forgetting everything, and that she has so much pressure on her shoulders to try and be the best. And she's sort of like the big representative of the barrio, right? She's the smart one. She
Mhm.
gets to go to Stanford, and all that. And she has all that pressure, and that she sort of like feels lost at the same time of like, well,
Yeah.
what happens when I fail? Will everyone be disappointed and think of me as a failure? What happens if I do a mistake, right? And she has all this doubt of like,
Yeah.
well, what do I do now? I don't want to tell anybody. But at the same time,
Yeah.
she should, like, because she's the first one, so no one knows how anyone's gonna react. So we sort of see her struggle in that, and amazing. Like Breathe is such a beautiful song.
This song, like, not only has beautiful lyrics, but also has like this really like cool moment where Nina's singing and the whole neighborhood starts singing around her.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part where they go, where it's like, they're not worried about Nina, Nina. And it's just like perfectly like woven together, and just the entire neighborhood singing is was just sounded so nice. And another cameo, Lin-Manuel Miranda's parents.
Oh yeah,
are in this
Lynn's
song.
parents are in this song. We like took a double take, and we're like, excuse me? We were like, excuse me? We were like, what?
It was like literally like 2 frames.
Yeah, I was like,
wait, what?
Yeah, I had to like do double take. I was like, those are Lin-Manuel Miranda's parents. Those are Lynn's
also,
parents.
Another cameo was the woman who first started singing like the neighborhood's part.
Yeah.
Was in the original Broadway cast.
Doreen Montalvo. She
Yes.
who the movie is dedicated to her because she unfortunately passed away last year. And she was the original Abuela Claudia during the workshop. And if you guys hear like the Para Siempre song, that it's a motif. It's not an actual song in the musical, but it's like a motif that plays in the background on like a record, and it's Abuela's favorite song. She sings that as well. So she was in the original Broadway cast. So this was like her last role before she passed away. So I feel like it was a great tribute.
And it was really nice to see. Yeah, one thing I really appreciate about this movie, that like a lot of other movie musicals, like you don't see this happen in other movie musicals that are translated from film to translated from stage to film, is they really like pay tribute to the cast.
Mm-hmm.
This film is littered with cameos of the original Broadway cast, from people who have like tiny roles in the original production to people who are like main characters.
Yeah, like
literally littered
everyone
everywhere
is
in this movie,
and it's beautiful.
And that's so cool, because like people who are fans of the musical, like Misha and I, could be like, oh my god, that's Graffiti Pete, that's the original Graffiti Pete, that's Chris Jackson.
Yeah, like it's like, so nice that they brought in the original like, cast members
everywhere
into the movie.
Yeah,
like I feel like that's something
and
that
also had them
should do.
And also like apparently had the entire not the entire cast, but like a lot of people from the original Broadway cast sing the ensemble part.
Sing the ensemble part
in the musical.
Yeah. If you look at the credits, you can see a lot of them.
That was so cool. You don't see that in other musicals that are like adapted from stage.
Like that's what makes
which I really like that.
Yeah, what makes In the Heights so special.
I really like that little touch.
It's because again, the sense of community. It's the same thing of like the people who originated this role. Yeah. You should be thoroughly open to go back to the movie film adaptation, right? Or at least put their own little touch to it. So seeing that happen was great. So Nina doing Breathe.
It was a little nice thing.
Yeah. So again, Nina's Breathe is beautiful. But with talking about Nina, you have to talk about her love interest, Mr. Benny. Benny on the
Yes.
Dispatch. So I will
Oh
say,
my god.
out of all
So
the
Benny,
out of all the roles,
a minor thing that they a minor thing that they kind of did in they added a little short line that Benny and Nina had dated previously,
yeah,
and they decided to break up when Nina left.
yeah,
Whereas in the musical, they were never really a thing. They just knew each other
yeah, they were just
growing up.
friends. Yeah,
And it wasn't until she returned that they started
They
the
did.
relationship.
yeah,
And it was kind of nice that they added like there's a little bit more of a history between
yeah.
the
I
two
feel
of
like it
them,
makes the
which makes their
dynamic.
bond like a lot stronger.
It makes their dynamic
Yeah.
more interesting as well. Being like, there's something there, and it's the thing of like, do you want it to return or do you not want it to return?
Yeah.
Which they play back and forth
Yeah.
with a lot. And I will say though, out of all the roles, this is the one that I was most skeptical of. Not because I didn't have any faith in Corey Hawkins at all. He ended up doing incredible. But it's just because Christopher Jackson's vocals are like out of this world. Who played Benny originally on Broadway.
If you've never listened to Christopher Jackson sing, he has an amazing voice.
Like,
which listen to the In the Heights soundtrack or the Hamilton soundtrack.
Yeah, he plays Washington in Hamilton.
He was amazing in both.
I will say I was so worried about this because I had such high expectations for how Benny should sound like, because Christopher Jackson did a great job.
Yeah.
And Corey Hawkins did an equally great job singing as well.
Oh,
he has
yes,
such
100%.
an amazing voice. Like Benny's Dispatch, yo. There's
God.
one thing that I prefer
with
with his interpretation of Benny is that he's more playful. Like Benny in the movies more playful and more like cheeky, charismatic, especially with Nina being like they joke around more. And I think it's because they have previous history that he's more comfortable with kidding around with her.
I really like that touch.
Like Benny's Dispatch is like, it becomes more funner because he's like playing around with her and having so much fun. And I think that's such an important touch to like how Benny is, because like, yes, he wants to be a businessman, but like also he's fun. Benny's a fun character. Like
something that they establish in Benny's first appearance, which is in the opening number, is that he's like a super hard worker and also a super loyal worker. He works for Nina's dad. He's like super prepared with like helping Kevin, even getting like, his second coffee and his like breakfast snack or whatever. And I just really like how Benny was played here. He was, like Misha said, super playful, but they still stayed true to how he was portrayed in the musical, which
I feel
is
like
a hard worker.
They just expanded on Benny as a person. So like another song, him and Nina sing "When You're Home," right? And which is beautiful.
I love that song. It's so great.
He is so playful in that song.
Chris,
and
that was the song that I was like the most worried for.
Yeah.
Because like there are some pretty high notes for Benny in that song that Chris Jackson absolutely nails, and it sounds so. I love that song so much, and it's done really well in the film.
They basically are in like a park, and it makes more sense because they sort of like go through the park and like playing in the basketball court in the movie, and then they went to all like the people in the park partying, and like oh my god, there's a part when it goes like, oh no pare, sigue, and they like start dancing with like the old people. So cute.
That was cute.
And they start dancing with each other. It. Also, them in a basketball court. Are they actually get you in the game now or never? Troy Bolton and Gabriella Montez.
Oh my god!
I'm telling you, In the Heights is actually High School Musical.
It's the same movie.
It's the same movie, guys. It's the same movie. Corbin Bleu, who played Chad, played Usnavi.
Corbin Bleu played Usnavi.
Vanessa Hudgens played Vanessa at one point.
Yeah.
My only thing is that I'm not mad about it. I understand. I'm just like a little bit sad was that they changed like the ending of like how they end the song. Like it's like it's supposed to be like a big ending in the song. Like they all belt really high, and it's like super powerful.
That was the part that I was like so ready for. I was like, okay, let's do this, and then.
Except they sort of did a 180 and sort of instead of making it like a big climax, like strong moment, they sort of went the other way and was just like it's a quiet moment between the two of them. Like,
yeah, which like I get it, but like also like
I miss the
but,
belt.
like,
I
that
miss
was
the
moment
belt.
we
And they're
were
just like,
waiting
I'm
for.
home.
That was like the reason why I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be a bit hard for whoever has to sing this because Chris Jackson f***ing
Yeah,
went
but they
for it.
changed it up. And then
But
they're just like, it's the two of them. It's really intimate. And they're just like, everyone, like, all like the people around them sort of like disappear. And it's only the two of them. But like, I kind of understand because she sings I'm home to him. So it's like her home
yeah,
is him. Like Nina's home is Benny.
damn,
And I'm like,
damn,
damn. I'm just saying.
damn.
I'm just saying. I love them so much. Benny and Nina.
Oh, it's great.
I love them. Also, my favorite line
Yes.
ever is in this song as well. It's Christopher Jackson when she, like, Nina's just like, you know, she's sort of having a worry about, like, everyone thinks I'm a failure. And then Benny goes, and can I say I couldn't get my mind off you all day. And I die every time I hear Christopher Jackson sing that. Corey Hawkins still does it
so
great
good.
as well in the musical.
Oh,
they both, I mean, the
this
movie.
is gonna turn into a Christopher Jackson appreciation.
I'm
video,
sorry,
swear.
this man has such good vocals. I'm just saying, whenever anyone sings that, Corey did a good job in the movie singing it as well. But like,
yes,
my heart.
I'm sorry, but Christopher Jackson,
my heart.
So good, I swear.
When You're Home, I love that number a lot. I feel like it's
amazing.
It's such a cute number to just sort of like, you know, give
Yes.
backstory on them, but just like
It's a wonderful duet. It's a really wonderful duet.
Yeah, 100%. Another wonderful duet though is When the Sun Goes Down, which usually I'm not a big fan of. But then they did something.
It's like,
y'all aren't ready how they did When the Sun Goes Down. They start dancing on buildings. The visual.
On like the side of buildings. It was like, we were like, is this Spider-Man?
Yeah, literally all of us were like, because they were just singing on the fire escape, right? And then all of a sudden, they start walking
they start,
up.
like,
So
walking
this is
on
the
walls.
building. So like you stand like there. And then they started just walking on walls and windows and start dancing. And I'm like, what the is going on?
We were like, this is Spider-Man 3 pala.
Yeah, we were just like, because it is in the trailer, right? But then none of us knew where they would put it.
Yeah, I honestly thought that was gonna be during When You're Home.
Same. I thought it was gonna be When You're Home as well, and then
because it seems like When You're Home, because When the Sun Goes Down is such a slow song. That I was like, and they were like really like dancing, and so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they sort of picked up the tempo with it. They sort of picked it up more, but I liked it though. It made me like remember When the Sun Goes Down
it was
more
so
because
nice.
I usually more so remember sunrise than When the Sun Goes Down. But then they did this, but it was so beautiful. Like
it was so nice.
Beautiful.
Just the way it was done was so nice.
Yeah.
And, like, oh my, and the choreography. Once again, the choreography.
Yeah, choreography
was, like,
again.
So
10 out of
great.
10 choreography. We have nothing more else to say other than 10 out of 10 choreography because it's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Also because
it's
like
wonderful.
I love that song in the movie. Like they did it really well. Like,
yeah.
Was it a little bit unnecessary? Maybe, but I don't care. It was great.
It gave us a great scene.
It gave us a great scene, okay? Yo, I thought they were gonna attempt the Spider-Man kiss at one point, because at one point I think Nina, like, goes upside down, so I thought they were gonna do the Spider-Man kiss. They didn't, but they did kiss.
God.
I thought they were gonna do the Spider-Man kiss, and I was like, not prepared for that. Guys, it's either, In the Heights is either High School Musical or Spider-Man.
Or Spider-Man.
Oh god.
Oh, amazing.
But yes, amazing choreo and all that. But another number that we haven't actually talked about with amazing choreo, which has the choreo, is The Club. The club scene.
Yes.
The
club scene is probably like one of like the bigger highlights of the film.
I was definitely
it's really great.
Yeah, I was definitely excited to see how
it's a lot of fun, yeah.
How they were gonna portray this like on film, because
Me
obviously
too.
Like it's small on stage, right? You can't really make a lot of club atmosphere. So like I knew that they could actually have potential to do something good with it, and they did. It was so cool to actually visualize what the club looked like, and it was not just a stage.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great. It was great.
I also like, once again, choreography, 10 out of 10.
Guys, Vanessa knows how to dance. But
Vanessa dancing in, oh
her
my
green
god,
dress,
that was
her
amazing.
green dress.
She like really like owned that like scene. It was so fun. And I also another cameo was Seth Stewart,
Yeah,
who played Graffiti Pete in the Broadway production.
Yeah, he's the bartender.
Played the bartender.
Which I was
and
like,
so I was like, oh
yeah, we were just like, wait, we know
like,
that,
oh
and we were just like, we told everyone, rewind like 2 seconds. We know who that is.
We were the entire time we were watching this movie, we were that Leo meme was just like, wait, I recognize that person. But yes, it was such a great scene.
Like, it's great dance, and like I think they did change a bit of it because in the musical, like Benny and Nina sort of have like a fight. Ish.
Yeah. I was waiting for that, and then I didn't realize that it didn't happen until like the next song. I was like, oh yeah, wait, that was supposed to happen.
Because like, which kind of makes sense because it's more so that Benny and Nina don't fight, but it's like Nina and her dad that fight. So it kind of made sense that they took that out. So, but like my favorite, Benny is so funny in this scene because he keeps on making like weird faces and like funny quips because obviously in the scene, basically like Vanessa and Usnavi like go out, except that they don't really hang out in the club. They sort of like keep on splitting up, or Usnavi keeps on like yeeting out and like, I'm gonna go get a drink. And next thing, because Vanessa is hot as everyone wants to dance with her.
Yes, and Usnavi is also like intimidated, high key.
Yeah, but then like obviously he's just like, I can fight them, and Benny's like, no, bitch, you can't. His facial expressions are so funny. He's like there sipping
Benny's reaction to Usnavi
like,
just living is my favorite thing.
Like, it's so funny. It's so funny, and like
he's just like, what the is wrong with him?
Yeah, he's just like, bitch, what?
To Usnavi.
Yeah, and like
amazing.
My favorite part of the club obviously is that because Vanessa's too busy dancing with other boys, Usnavi's like, you know what, I'll find someone else to dance with, and then he's like goes up to this random girl and is like starts word vomiting
bartender
because he doesn't know what the fuck to do.
It's such a great rap. It's so good.
Okay, the musical has like its own funny quips because again, Lynn cannot dance. So like,
oh my god, it's insane.
It's so cute. It's like the dance scene is so
I love
cute.
The club scene for Lynn's dancing, but like that's one of my favorite moments. But here I was like, okay, Anthony Ramos can dance very well.
It's still funny though because the girl he asks, she just keeps on shaking, and Anthony Usnavi's like, no, I can't. And then it becomes a la Dance at the Gym from West Side Story when like there's like the club is separated between girls and boys and they start dancing, and I was like, I was freaking out because it looked so cool. They really filmed this one very well. It's like, and it's so simple.
Yes.
Like, there's nothing much you have to do in terms of like effects. It's just like the dance just carries it themselves.
So like right after the club scene, the club song, it transitions directly into another song called Blackout, which is when
there's a blackout.
The entire neighborhood has a blackout. And what they do in the musical is, so like the stage lights just go completely off. And then everyone just slowly starts turning on flashlights, and the stage is just filled with flashlights, and that's the only source of light. I really liked that. It looked amazing on stage.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's see what they're gonna do.
Obviously, in a movie,
they weren't
the same effect won't be the same, but they do that, right? Like everything goes black. They do like a panoramic scene of like the rest of the city goes black, and then everyone has like their cell phone lights. Obviously, because it's present day, the phones are different, and all that.
The Blackout was the song I think that I was looking forward to the most because it's probably my favorite song from the Broadway show, and it's, in my opinion, probably one of the best end of Act 1 numbers, which like the end of Act 1 number is like a big deal in the musical. Mm-hmm. Because it's supposed to, like the name suggests, end the first act.
Yeah.
So it's usually something really big or something like that amplifies the story and gets you ready for Act 2. Oh, Clay's in the shot now. Fellas, this is my dog Clay. He's a very good boy, but sometimes he's not. But he's still a good boy. Yes, he's sometimes a carpet. He's like flat. Anyway, there was actually one thing that I was really disappointed about Blackout, because there's this moment where everyone starts singing on top of each other. It's like it's Kevin, and then it's Vanessa, and it's just everyone else until it becomes like this just noise of everyone like freaking out.
Yeah.
And I really, really liked that part. And
Yeah.
I was really sad that they actually cut it from the song.
Yeah, no, they did a lot of changes.
Yeah,
with,
they changed
with Blackout.
a lot.
So like Kevin doesn't sing anymore. They changed the verse
Yeah.
of Sonny and Graffiti Pete, because no one's trying to steal from their store anymore.
To
it's
lose
just
the
them
store. Yeah.
doing fireworks. There's an extra
They're just
verse.
trying to light up. Yeah.
Yeah, there's an extra verse of Usnavi and Vanessa, which I actually really like, because it sort of shows more of their relationship in terms of like, because it they don't really expand on it really in the musical, in terms of like, Usnavi basically kind of stood up Vanessa even though they went on a date together, because they barely talked to each other during the date. So Vanessa complains, and then Usnavi's like, well, you were like busy dancing, and there's sort of like this, both of them sort of really mad at each other, being like, well, this is not it. Like,
like in the musical, they do fight, but it's more about Usnavi leaving Vanessa during the blackout, because in the musical, Usnavi goes to Abuela to check in if she's okay, and he does, but that's after he and Vanessa are like he and Vanessa have the fight, you know.
I really
that was a little change
thing. I do agree with Talia that like the fact that they didn't have like all of them harmonizing together was disappointing. I kind of understand though, because again, having the cliffhanger of that together will not make sense in a movie, because, well, it will continue on to the next scene. But I really wish they kept that. I do like that, like, Benny was like even during a blackout, and like even though Nina's dad is selling the dispatch, or like is selling the business, he's still working the dispatch, making sure everyone is safe and making sure everyone knows where to go and all that, which I think is really important to Benny's character, honestly.
They also like changed it up a bit by like having everyone go to Abuela's apartment and like just chill there until the next morning.
Which I think is really cute. I found that bingo game really cute.
That was really cute. I really enjoyed that. But before we delve into that a bit more, I think we should talk about Vanessa.
Yes.
Because we haven't really spoken about Vanessa yet. She's the love interest of Usnavi.
In the movie, she basically, there's like a fashion designer story arc where that's her ultimate goal. That's what she would do. Like, I mean, obviously, in 96,000, she would just leave the barrio. But the reason why she would leave the barrio is to, like, have her own life and fulfill her dream of becoming a fashion designer.
I love Vanessa's songs. She has a lot of really great songs. Like It Won't Be Long Now.
It Won't Be Long Now is
has,
amazing.
like, this little... It has, like, this little part where Usnavi tries to ask out Vanessa, and he succeeds. And Usnavi has like this little rap that I'm obsessed with.
Okay, so they changed this a little bit, though. They changed this a little bit because of the fashion design sort of aspect. Obviously, her pathway of It Won't Be Long Now is to go to be a fashion designer. So she goes to downtown and goes to the fashion and design school and like gets fabric and all that. So we miss like in the musical, she like gets hit up with all these guys, and then she like calls Usnavi for help. Which I kind of missed, but at the same time, I wasn't that pressed about missing it. I feel like her becoming independent and her like trying to find her way and trying to like fulfill her dream of like getting this apartment, but then they're just like, oh, you can't really do this, and like basically making it hard for her to fulfill her dream. But then like we replaced it with this like cute scene in the movie where like Usnavi's trying to cheer her up and she's so grumpy.
It's so cute.
It's adorable. I feel like out of all the scenes, this like Usnavi is the most socially awkward when it comes to Vanessa, because obviously he's obsessed and in love with her. He doesn't know what to do. And he's adorable, and Sonny's the one. The 15-year-old Sonny is the one hitting up Vanessa to ask out Usnavi.
He's like, hey, my cousin
over there
Who
with
wants
his
to go
tongue
to
hanging
dance
out.
with you?
It's like, who dances like a drunk Cheetah Rivera.
That was so funny.
I love that
I
scene.
love
I love that.
Sonny, first of all,
Yeah.
and I love that scene.
Like that whole rap part. That was the part I think we were like both scared of, like, because they cut out the "I Usnavi help SOS" part, and we were like, they can't cut out the
Good
rap.
morning.
Like,
yeah,
they can't.
I was like,
cut
I thought they were
the-
gonna cut out the rap. I was like, if they cut out the rap, I'm leaving. But they didn't.
because there's like there's like a long gap between like where Vanessa stops singing and the rap happens, where like the whole scene in the bodega happens,
and it was really different.
Yeah,
so
I
was
just
like, oh no, please don't tell me that.
And then all of a sudden they were like, oh snap, who's that? And we were like,
that? Don't touch me, I'm too hot.
Yes. And we were like,
good.
we were so excited, we were so happy.
Oh
we were like,
my god, we were all
oh
like, yo!
Wait, my favorite part is Sonny doing Superman, the you.
Oh my god, I was like, fucking, is Sonny doing the fucking Soulja Boy?
Yeah, dude, he's like, I was
thing that we all did when we were 10.
Literally, I was like, this is
what
why
is
I'm in
this?
love with Sonny. That moment when he did,
oh my god. I could not.
We promised this is a Vanessa song, but like we gotta geek out about Usnavi and Sonny in that one bit because it's so good.
Yes,
I do have to mention though, because again with Vanessa, Karen Olivo was the original Broadway actress who did the role.
Who's amazing.
Who is a vocal powerhouse, Tony Award winning Karen Olivo, who is a force of change because obviously she left Moulin Rouge because she does not want to work under Scott Rudden, which I completely respect and I honor and praise her for that.
Yes.
The wonderful, talented Karen Olivo did this role so well because her vocals are amazing. So, obviously a little bit apprehensive, but like Melissa Barrera pulled it out the house. There's this like, she like riffed, like there's like, this one riff and It Won't Be Long Now, and she optioned up higher than what Karen sang, and I was like, girl!
Yes.
I was like, girl! She ain't here to play.
She really did. She did really well.
Her vocal slap, and she's gorgeous. Oh my god, her legs.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
when we see her in the opening number, like we pan up and see her legs first. Or her shoes first, then we see her legs, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, It Won't Be Long Now is a very important song for sort of Vanessa. We get to see her sort of like her sassy side in the beginning, being like, well, all these boys, I don't give a about them. I want my dream. And then at the end of the song, right, there's like this quiet moment of like, well, I don't want to work in the salon anymore. I have bigger dreams. And then she starts running down the street, and then all these fabric starts dropping out of the sky all of a sudden, and I'm like, beautiful.
Yes. But another Vanessa song that I absolutely love as well is Champagne. Which like
Champagne
honestly,
is the cutest song.
Like so we were like headed towards the end of the film, and I was like, okay, it seems like all the songs are here, and then Champagne started playing. I was like, oh right, this song, I totally forgot it. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'm ready. And oh my god, it was so cute. Oh,
dude, Champagne is adorable because it's basically Vanessa's trying to like make Usnavi stay because he's leaving for the Dominican Republic. He's going back home, and Vanessa's like, wait, no, I want you to stay. Like, and she tries to come up with excuses, being like, you can fix this place, or Sonny needs a role model. But at the end, it's like she wants, like she actually is like confessing that she likes Usnavi as well. But Usnavi, being the quirky little awkward boy he is, doesn't understand, he's too being like, I gotta get this gold off the f***ing champagne bottle.
God.
Like, it's so funny. It's such a heartbreaking song for Vanessa, so because obviously she's like,
so
I she's like, I want you to stay, and then she's like, I'm too late. I can't do anything anymore. But it's so important for Vanessa. And then on the other side, you have Usnavi, who's just like, I want to drink this champagne, but I don't know how to do this.
Clueless.
It's
so funny.
It's a big himbo moment for Usnavi.
Oh,
big
yes,
himbo moment for Usnavi. But like,
oh yes, and we stand.
Like, it's so cute, and like their kiss.
It was adorable.
My heart my
It
heart,
really was.
my heart, and like there's like this one motif, sort of like obviously like a little bit after they fight, they have like a conversation of like, you know, what Vanessa wants to do, and then Usnavi's like, you know, tries to hype her up, being like, yo, you like did little doodles in class, I see you were so artistic, and he's like, I want to see the world through your eyes, and I'm like, ah, ah, ah,
Damn.
sir, and
Damn.
we see that in the end, and like it's full
Yeah.
circle. It's full circle. I love how like Vanessa gets little inspiration for her work through like different things that happen in her life. I'm like, wow, true artistic genius. And Champagne is such a great song. Also, Champagne happens, and this is how we're gonna connect to our last point. Is basically Usnavi is about to go home to the Dominican Republic because he has found funds, I guess, with the lawyer person. Was like, I'm gonna go, and then in this point we figure out that Abuela Claudia left him the winning lotto ticket for 96,000.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
And Abuela Claudia Abuela Claudia are the love of our lives, right?
Yes, I love. Who was played by the original Abuela,
yeah. Olga
They brought her back, which was
she's the only one who reprised her role, which is perfect, by the way, like perfect.
Yeah. And yeah, she's amazing in this role.
And like, Abuela's the cutest person on the planet. Like, I want to protect her.
I love her.
I want to protect her. And this is where like the main change of the movie is that they placed her death at a different time. So usually in the musical, she would die right after Carnaval del Barrio. Like, they all celebrate.
Yeah, which is like in the middle of Act 2.
Yeah, middle of Act 2. Basically. After Carnival, everyone's partying, and then all of a sudden, it's silence, and then like Kevin's like, attention, Abuela Claudia passed away. In the musical, she passes away during Blackout, basically.
Yes. Right after Blackout.
But
after they're playing bingo.
Well. First, so she goes to sleep, and then we get Paciencia Y Fe, which arguably
was probably the best song.
Yeah, in terms of
performance.
Like, in terms of like how they portrayed it. It's basically her in her dream.
Well
and
done.
Then it was all on a train, and like it was so good. Like, I'm not kidding.
It was all of us were like, our jaws were hanging, and we were like, that was insane. Like, we were all just like,
all of us love that number. All of us love that number.
Crazy.
Because basically Paciencia Fe, so sort of like the story of Abuela and her mom moving to the States, and like the struggles and hardships they had to do to fit in and to like fulfill their dreams. And their motto is Paciencia Y Fe, which is patience and faith, which, you know, is what they live by. And basically we see their story on the subway train. Like, they dance and act out to the subway train in the station.
Good. I loved the production value of this song, and it was so different compared to like all the other ways the song was performed. The songs were performed in this movie. This one is definitely the standout and the most different. And you could see they put so much effort into this song. And it was really, really well done. I can't wait for like behind the scenes.
Yeah, because
because this must have been a hard number to perform, because they're dancing in a confined space.
Yeah.
And it's so like I don't have to describe it, but
it's beautiful. It was so seamless the way they did it, and the way that they. And it's
seamless,
a dream.
That was the word I was looking for.
It's a dream sequence, right? So basically, they had liberty to do whatever. I think that was the good thing they did with this, because in the musical, she sort of just stands and just sings, and like some people would act out.
In the musical, she's just on stage, and then the dancers come.
Yeah, they act out some of it, but not all of it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Obviously, that will not work in a movie for her to just sing, you know. So the fact that they made it the dream sequence, I think, was so smart. And honestly, it came out to like the best number that they adapted is 100% Paciencia Y Fe. Like we have friends who've never watched the musical before, who've never listened to the musical before, and we're like, that's the best number, and for good reason. Like, it was so beautiful.
I cried.
It was so beautiful.
cried.
It was because
I was
okay, so
crying by the end.
Usually in the musical, Paciencia Y Fe is sort of
It's
middle
about
to
the
the
lotto
end,
ticket.
middle to the end of Act 1, right?
Yes.
Because of the lottery ticket, right? Because after 96,000, it is revealed early in the musical that she won the lottery.
Yes.
But in the movie, it's not. Like we do not. It's not revealed.
We
until
don't
the very
find out
end,
until
Usnavi
end.
opens the box and finds it, right? So
yeah.
And also her death is in Act 2, right, as we mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. But here, after Paciencia Y Fe, there's a tunnel, right? And that's when we all realized this is when she was gonna die, because there's one that was like the heavenly light on one side, and like
there was and like reality on the other. And she was like, "I'm Mama, okay," and I was like, "Wait, no."
Yeah. But the thing is, it made sense though. That line, "Mama, okay."
Yeah,
it made sense. Like, that line,
because that's in the musical. That line is in the musical, but it's more about the lotto ticket. And this one, it's like, oh, okay, I'll just pass.
Yeah, and she's happy to pass.
All of us were so quiet, and like I was like crying.
Yeah, no, I was tearing up.
Oh,
it was
my God,
beautiful.
And then like the scenes after that, when they're all like mourning Abuela.
Yeah, and that's when Alabanza happens. Basically, like she dies basically happy, which I like, because I feel like, because in the musical we don't get to see her dying moments. She just passes.
Yeah, we don't see her die.
She dies off stage. We see her in hundreds of stories with her and Usnavi.
Hundreds of stories. Yeah,
they talk about Usnavi's story and like, you know, where we come from.
Yeah, which they cut in the film.
Yeah, which they cut in the film, which I guess because of this, right? Because they changed the way her death works.
Yeah.
So like the fact that we went from Paciencia Y Fe straight into her death, but I was so happy we got to see her final moments, because we know that she died happily. She was ready to pass.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then we just go into
and what was like really nice, there was a shot where Abuela's lying down on her bed and she looks into the living room where she sees like Usnavi and the Salon Girls and everyone, not everyone from the neighborhood, but like a lot of people who are close to her in her living room, smiling and happy, and that's sort of when she passes.
Yeah, that's all.
And I was like, okay, oh my God, and I just sobbing.
I literally, and like my heart was like pounding so hard, my feels, because and then Usnavi comes in and she's like, oh my God, she's dead. Everyone like, and like chaos ensues.
Oh my God.
And like what I really like I really kind of like the fact that she died at night, because in the musical it's after Carnaval, so it's still afternoon. She died at night, so like the visual of the entire street with their candlelight singing Alabanza outside her window. Oh,
we were crying again. Oh,
like it literally.
That was so nice.
It was so beautiful.
God.
Like they did Alabanza so beautifully with the tribute. Like, oh my God, I cannot. It was so beautiful,
it was so
beautifully done.
And
like
just oh my God, I loved it so much.
Oh my God. and with the finale, right? You know, Abuela's passed.
The finale.
Right?
The finale, it's paying homage to the opening number. It not emulates, but like replicates.
Kind of. It does.
Verse from the opening number. But changes the lyrics slightly to make it more.
It's like a slowed down version of it as well, because it's sort of like you're winding down.
Yeah.
And this is when.
And I just love the.
This is
finale.
also when.
It's called finale.
And this is also when in the movie our hopes were finally fine, because this is when we realized we were not in the Dominican Republic at all. They just
Usnavi was talking to
us.
his daughter and her friends.
And they were like, new bodega.
It was like, oh, this is actually the bodega.
Yeah.
And they just have a background that looks like the beach.
Yeah.
And they go back into reality, and they were just sitting in the bodega.
I was like, damn, you really got us there, honestly. Because basically, like, Usnavi prepares to leave, and right before he leaves, Vanessa's like, wait, hold on. Because the night before, she struck inspiration, like, after Champagne, because she was walking.
Yeah,
and then she did some
with
work.
graffiti
and then,
teeth. Can I just say that my favorite moment is, like, when we're like in the illusion that they're actually in the beach, there's a part where they cut to a little green crab, and at the end when we realize that it's just a painting, my favorite thing is Sonny's like, I drew that crab and it's the
Yeah.
green one.
Yeah, I think that's when
was
when
my
it clicked.
favorite.
I was like, oh, okay. And then
It's like, I was like, oh, that's so sweet.
I know, and then
I
that's
love
when
it.
Usnavi realizes, oh, no, I'm not leaving. This
Yeah.
is home. Because like
Yeah.
the whole point of In the Heights sort of is like Usnavi's been wanting to go home. He talks about the Dominican Republic has been was the happiest days of my life.
Yeah, it's his
and all
home.
of that. But
Yeah.
then that's the moment it switches in his head, being like, I was always happy here in New York. I was always happy in Washington
Yeah.
Heights. I was always happy with my friends, with Vanessa, with Sonny, and that's why he decides to stay home. And it's a beautiful realization that like home doesn't always need to be where you're from, but it's where you feel
Yeah.
loved and you feel the support. Like it can be anywhere in the world
Mhm.
as long as you have that warm feeling in your heart. That is home.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's so beautiful. I think the finale, as with the musical and the movie, they did it so well of encapsulating that feeling of like,
well.
I'm home. Here's my home. It's not like Dominican Republic may be where I'm from, but this is home. And that's like the
Yeah.
essence of like the whole musical, and Usnavi's story is finding home.
Mhm.
And it's there. It's Washington Heights. It's amazing, right? Like as like
it's amazing.
they
It
really
truly
handled
is.
that
This is
well.
really like a really well done film that understood its source material,
Mhm.
understood like the intent, which often like with musicals that are being translated to film, that's usually lost. Like
Mhm.
they're focusing on making it into a film that they forget like
Yeah, what it's all about.
what the musical is supposed to
Yeah.
be. You know?
Exactly.
And I'm very, very glad that, they were able to keep the heart and
Yeah.
soul of In the
Yeah,
Heights.
they really did.
Um,
And that's what I
And
love
and
about the
yeah.
musical so much, right? It makes you speechless. It's honestly, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's such a great ending for the whole musical as a whole, and then as a movie as a
Yeah.
whole, right? That warm feeling of like, I'm home is the last thing you hear. It brings so much
really
hope and
is
joy.
just
But it really is an
this
amazing movie.
this is really just a lovely like
It's a lovely
fun
movie.
musical that
honestly
that makes you feel every emotion.
Like I know like a lot of movie musicals, a lot of them are hits or misses. There's been a lot of like meh
Yes.
movies and stuff. This one you have to see.
Yeah.
Like In the Heights is
This
one
one
you will not
is
regret.
definitely a
You
must
regret.
watch.
Yeah, I think
It's
a lot of
so-
people will like this.
So good. We cannot stress that
And I
enough.
think it's important as well
It's-
because this is an original musical, right? Like
Yes.
we get a lot
There
of
aren't many original musicals,
being
all-
transformed into movies.
most of them are based off of something in some form or other. This one is 100% original, which is
So,
really, really cool.
Yeah, and I think
because you don't see that every day.
Yeah, and I think it's so important. The story is so important. We get, more Latin voices in the community, gives a platform for them. And it's such an important story that's being told. And it's such a beautiful
Mhm.
story also that's so important. And we just love it. We just love it. Like
It's so great. Go watch it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. Watch it if you can. It's out on HBO Max. It's also out in select cinemas, depending if cinemas are open in your country, because Miss Rona likes to do things. But yeah, please watch it, because to see those dance numbers on a big screen, I think I'm gonna cry. I think I'm actually gonna cry. No cap.
Oh my god. Well, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.
Yeah, please. We're so sorry you had to put through with us talking for so long about this movie.
For
but
so long.
Honestly,
but this is what happens.
It's an
when
amazing
we talk
movie.
about musicals.
Yeah, this is what happens.
Especially
you guys,
musicals we're very passionate about.
You guys saw the Legally Blonde episode. You weren't surprised that we were back again.
We were insane, so
give us suggestions if you want anything we want to talk about. We might actually do that wicked riff compilation video idea. Because,
girl, we have to.
Because we can talk about we have
to.
many thoughts. We have many thoughts about that.
We have many thoughts.
But that is for
There's
another
so many
time.
wicked compilations.
But that's for another time. So thank you again for watching. And goodbye.
Bye.
Tangina.